What's up, everybody? Welcome back to State of the Nova Nation. My name is Pat Ralph.
And I'm Alexander Hernandez.
So this is our last episode before Thanksgiving break. But before we get to what we're going to talk about tonight, we might as well recap. How was your weekend, Alex?
My weekend went really well. I went in on Sunday for the Philadelphia Marathon.
That's right. It was pretty cold, though, but went well, right?
It went well. I did not run. I just want to make that very clear.
Despite the rumors, no, Alex did not run. I didn't.
My other friend Alex ran, and she ran the full marathon, 26.2 miles. Very proud of her.
That's awesome.
I personally would probably never do it. After watching them, It was just something I could just check off my list as a cheerleader and not as a runner.
I feel like knowing you, I feel like you'd run the first couple miles, then probably pass Jim Steaks on South Street, and you'd bang a hard right and go get a cheesesteak. I called a day out on the trail. No, I don't blame you. I wouldn't do either. I think after about 5, I'd see a Wawa, and I was saying that to somebody, just go get some Wawa right away. But tonight here on the show, before we head off for Thanksgiving break, we're going to talk some men's basketball. The men's team got 3 big wins over Nebraska, East Tennessee State, and Akron this past week. We're also going to talk about volleyball that went 12-0 this season at home, and we're also going to wrap up the football season here tonight.
And to make up for last week, we have a weekly conversation tonight with none other than Andy Talley, who is the football coach here at Villanova University. So we'll see what he has to say about Villanova's season.
Now let's head to Morgan Lamb with more on how the basketball team did this past week.
Hey everyone, my name is Morgan Lamb, and we're looking at men's basketball, who just finished out a powerhouse doubleheader weekend, Friday and Sunday, taking home 2 victories. On Friday night, Villanova played the East Tennessee State Buccaneers. The Wildcats were on fire, using a complete team effort to beat ETSU. ETSU entered the game after back-to-back 100-plus point games. Villanova held the high-flying offense to just 51 points and 19 of 59 shooting. The Wildcats dominated the Buccaneers on both sides of the courts. They forced ETSU to turn the ball over 17 times and converted them into 29 points. Offensively, the Wildcats were able to finally get it going from long range, draining 41.2% of their 3-point shots. Villanova won 86-51. Chris Jenkins led the way with a 17-point birthday performance. Daniel Ochefu had his 3rd straight double-double with 12 points and 16 rebounds. All in all, 5 different Wildcats scored in double figures. Leading the Bucks with a team high was TJ Cromer with 12 points. On Sunday afternoon, a confident Akron team came to the pavilion, giving Villanova a hard time in the beginning. The Wildcats eventually got it going, sparked by the play of Josh Hart and Ryan Arcidiacono. Hart was dominant, scoring a career-high 27 points. He was 11 for 21 and grabbed 9 rebounds. Arcidiacono was efficient, scoring 15 points, collecting 5 rebounds, and dishing out 8 assists. The Wildcats proved to be a second-half team once again. They cruised to a 75-56 win over the Zips to go 4-0 heading into Thanksgiving. For Akron, Quan Cheatham Jr. had 11 points, and Tino Jackson had a team high with 13 points. Chris Jenkins also chipped in an 11-point, 3-rebound performance. I'm here with Larry Flynn, a basketball aficionado. Larry, can you tell us about Friday's game against ETSU?
Yeah, I thought it was a really impressive win for the Villanova Wildcats. Daniel Ochefu really led the way, 16 points and 12 rebounds. Just a fantastic performance from one of the senior leaders on this team. I thought that at the end of the day, Eastern Tennessee State, although they started off hot, just kind of lost their focus in that game. And Villanova was the more disciplined team. They stayed committed to their defensive principles. They continued to swing the ball well offensively. So I thought at the end of the day, it was just a matter of a more well-coached team, a team that was, had played together before and that was ready to win that game.
Mm-hmm. Can you also tell us a little bit about the slow starts? Because that's something we saw not only on Friday, but on Sunday's game as well.
Right. It's a little bit of a disturbing early season trend, I think, for the Villanova Wildcats. You want to see a team get out and get into their offense right away, rebound the basketball early on, but it's really been a trend thus far in the early part of the season. Part of that might be just that the team isn't feeding Daniel Ochefu in the post early enough. I think they're waiting too long to get him the ball. He's an absolute monster on the block. He can dominate all these non-conference opponents. So I think that they should go to Daniel Ochefu more in the post. Just that'll open up the three-point shooting barrage that we see later on in games. But nevertheless, these runs that Villanova keeps going on to end up winning are very impressive. And that starts with the defensive end because, to go on a 22-0 run, you have to lock down the other team. So I think the defensive commitment from this team when they go on these second half runs is particularly impressive.
Absolutely. So slow starts maybe, but always a strong finish. Can you talk about Sunday's strong finish a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah. Great second half against Akron, and that was all about Josh Hart, of course. But also other guys stepped up in the second half. I thought Archie Diacono played a very under-the-radar game. 8 assists, no turnovers in that game as well. So great job by Arch, of course. And again, it's about defense, right? So an 18-3 run against Akron was how the Villanova Wildcats opened up the second half. So that's just awesome. That's locking down the perimeter, which Akron, started off really hot shooting the ball from 3, but eventually they were just, stayed committed to their defensive principles and they eked out the win.
Yeah. So 2 wins in 1 weekend. That's really special for the Wildcats, but it's especially special for Josh Hart. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I mean, a career night from Josh Hart against Akron. Very impressive. 27 points. Shot a great percentage from the field from 3. He was absolutely fantastic. I think the difference in this game wasn't, he was assertive in getting a shot, right? He was able to create off the dribble. He was able to get a lot of offensive rebounds and putbacks and things of that sort. So I thought it was a great game from Josh Hart, probably the best that we've seen from him in a Villanova Wildcat uniform.
So yeah, great things we saw from Josh Hart tonight, and I'm sure even better things to come this season. Thank you so much, Larry. My name is Morgan Lamb. Back to the studio.
Now 4-0 in the season, the basketball team heads this weekend to Brooklyn to take on Stanford and play the winner of Georgia Tech and Arkansas on Thursday and Friday. So they're 4-0. They get a big win against Nebraska, a Big Ten power school.
That was a good game, too.
Yeah, they get the win over East Tennessee State. And then a really good Akron. I don't know, did you go to the Akron game on Sunday?
I didn't go to the Akron game, but my roommate did go, and she was raving about it after she got home. So it was a great win. Yeah,
we won by 20, but Akron was they're a very good team. They were in the tournament last year. So that was a good, mid-major test for the team. And they, as you said,
agree.
And they go to Brooklyn this week. They play on Thanksgiving Day. Are you going to watch on Thanksgiving Day?
I am going to watch on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, I think it's 4:30's tip-off.
Yeah.
Playing Stanford.
I'll have my turkey on my plate, and I'll be ready.
Be ready. Take a little break from football to watch the Wildcats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we got that, and then they play the winner of Arkansas, or depending on how they do, winner or loser of Arkansas and Georgia Tech on Friday. So that'll be exciting. So it makes a little be interesting. Good little competitions against some power conference teams.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be good.
It'll be fun.
Now we're gonna take it over to Lexi Nall, who's in Jake Nevin, with our volleyball recap.
Women's volleyball finished with back-to-back sweeps on Friday and Saturday, finishing at home 12-0 for the season. On Friday night, the Wildcats rolled against Providence. Coach Steinbach seemed to experiment with a different lineup going in. Regardless, Villanova took swift care of Providence, beating them in 3 straight sets, 25-22, 25-16, and 25-16. Allie Loitz had a team-high 11 kills. Gabby Pettikoukas had 10 kills. The following night was senior night. Emotions ran high. The Wildcats had a bit of a slow start, but once they got the first set, they dominated from there. Villanova won 29-27, 25-16, and 25-14. Emma Pettit finished with 39 assists, 12 digs, and 3 blocks. Senior Lauren Carpenter and Claire Crutchfield tied for team highs, 9 kills. Gabby Pettikoukas, Allie Loitz, and Amanda Peterson-Henry each had 8 kills. Pettikoukas also had 5 blocks. Loitz added 10 digs and 4 blocks. Villanova finishes the regular season 24-7 and is perfect 12-0 at home. I'm joined now by our sports analyst, Patrick Chapchak. Now, Patrick, this team was projected to finish 7th, right? But they've just done fabulously. So what's going on? What can we attribute this to?
Absolutely no one was giving this team any credit to start the season. They really took that 7th place finish that they were projected to finish seriously. They taped the number 7 all over their locker room to start the season.
Wow.
To remind themselves that they have the potential to finish better than anyone thinks they do. They just have to prove it out here on this court. And that's exactly what they did. On Friday and Saturday, they finished up the season with both wins, going 12-0 at home in Jake Nevin Fieldhouse, as you said. And they did it in amazing fashion. First, they beat Providence here on this court, and then it was the sweep Saturday on senior night that really drove it home. In that game, Gabby Pettikoukas had 8 kills, but it was a senior, Lauren Carpenter, who led the team with 9 kills, along with Claire Crutchfield, showing that this team is a senior-led team, but they also have a great incoming class coming in. So the sky's the limit for this team right now.
Okay, so now what happened? I mean, this team put up a 12-0 finish. So, I mean, they had some rough years, right?
They did. Now, they started off a season 3-3, so they were looking exactly like a 7th place finish in the Big East. But from there, they just went on a roll, and now they have momentum going to the postseason, in which they'll be the 2nd seed, which means they're playing Xavier, a team that they lost to last time. But now that they have all this momentum, anything can happen. So if they win that game, they'll play number 1 seed Creighton at Creighton, which will be a tough team. But right now, the sky's the limit for this team.
That's amazing. So what does this mean then going into the postseason for these girls?
So as I said, the Big East tournament is very exciting for this team. This is something that they've been looking forward to a long time. The seniors have never had a chance to go to the postseason. If they do well enough in the Big East tournament, they could have a shot to go to the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history.
Wow.
So this is a very exciting time for the team.
Well, best of luck to our Villanova volleyball team. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Lexi. With the 2 big wins this weekend, the Villanova volleyball team is 12-0 at home and heading for the Big East tournament for the first time since 2010, which is a really big deal.
Yeah, that's huge. As we were talking about, we always talk about football, men's basketball, lacrosse here on campus, and the other sports a lot of times just kind of get swept under the rug. And
Not volleyball this year.
Not volleyball.
They're the front runners.
Exactly. They're really changing that, that tone here. And I was talking to someone the other day, and I know we've talked about this a lot, how, it's great to see another sport doing well. I was talking about how, the volleyball team is doing so well, and they've been playing so well at Jake Nevin Fieldhouse. And they're going to the Big East tournament. It's just nice to see it, and we've talked a lot about them on the show here. So
yeah, we have.
We've gotten to know them pretty well, and I think it's pretty cool to see all the hard work they've put in.
Yeah, especially the seniors now who had been put in 3 years of work. So
yeah, and of course, not all those years have been pretty. So it's nice to see all that hard work because they work just as hard as any of our other athletes, and it's great that they're getting the attention they deserve. So we'll see. Maybe they can bring home a Big East championship to Villanova.
NCAA tournament, maybe they can make it there, bring us home.
Yeah, a national championship.
Title.
That'd be great. So it's great for our sports here. Speaking of one of our finer sports here at Villanova, we were lucky to get an interview with head coach Andy Talley of the football team. As you know, the football team just finished up their season this past weekend. Let me send it now to Eugene, who had the interview with Coach Talley.
Hi, everyone. For this week's weekly conversation, I'm now joined by Coach Andy Talley. Coach, after this weekend, rough game, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, obviously, we had a chance to win the game at the end. We had played sporadically during the game. Tremendous defensive effort. Tremendous. Really held them to 1 touchdown, but we had a kickoff return against us for a touchdown. They picked an out route and ran it back for a touchdown, and then our quarterback fumbled down on the 24-yard line, and they ran the fumble back for a touchdown. So our defense really held them to 1 score, and offensively and special teams-wise, we had a few struggles, but we had over 300 yards rushing and 140 yards passing and really dominated the game. It's just one of those games where we made too many turnover mistakes to win the game, and that was unfortunate because in the loss, we ended up losing a playoff spot and a piece of the championship. So probably one of the tougher losses since I've been here.
What did you tell your team after the game?
Well, it's a tough opportunity for a coach after such a devastating loss. You really need to keep your emotions under control. And I really wanted to do a good job speaking with the team because given the fact that we lost our great quarterback, John Robertson, and we had so many injuries during the year, it was really miraculous that in the last game of the year, we were still fighting for a championship with an opportunity to be a playoff team. So I talked about all of the problems that in life you experience, the death of parents, the loss of a job, cancer, things that could take a family down, and really marshal your thoughts in terms of being able to handle life. They're going to experience a lot more bitter disappointments than this game. Sure, we lost the chance to play for a playoff bid and a potential national championship. Yes, we lost a chance to have a ring for a title, but it's a game. And the game of life can be much, much, much harsher. And I think having gone through playing football, going through a rough loss like we just had, that they can use it as a primer to get ready for life, because It ain't going to be easy. And that was really the message that I was trying to impart with them, that they really had a wonderful year, so proud of what they've accomplished, difficult, tough loss, but it was temporary and the future is bright for all of them, but they're ready to handle some of the ups and downs of everyday life.
You know, just like you said, surely there's something to be taken away from a team that had so many obstacles thrown at them with injuries to Robertson as well as the offensive line, but through it all, they maintained a fight and got a fighting chance. Surely there's something to take away from that, right?
Well, that was the message, really, that you know, you got to keep tapping the rock, which is our slogan and our motto that we live by. And pretty much if you continue to tap the rock, you keep working hard, good things are going to happen for you by and large. Now, there are some things that you can't control, but, you know, life is not easy. Life is hard. And in the economy that we live in right now, it's up, it's down. Sometimes jobs are going to be hard to get. You've got to try to stay healthy and be a good person through it all. And that was the message that we were trying to impart.
What do you have to say about the senior class? They signed on after a rough 2011 season, but they still stuck with the program, got it back going. You know, what do you have to say about them?
Well, this senior class has really seen it all. I mean, they had a potential national championship snatched from them this year because of the loss of John. We were predicted to be the best team in the league with a chance to go very far. So they've really been on a roller coaster ride since they've been here, but a lot more positives, a lot more wins, and a lot more great things that they accomplished than not. So I think all in all, they take their experience from Villanova and walk away going, I'm ready for the real world.
Zach Bednarczyk comes in, probably wasn't expecting to be a starter this year. Some people forget he's a freshman. What do you think about his play this year?
Well, Zach really did a wonderful job preparing. It was forced upon him to play sooner than he really was ready to play. He basically, as a first-year player, won 2 games for us with his tremendous play. He really snatched the Delaware game away at the end in the last 5 minutes of the game and played superbly against Richmond, who was the #1 seed in the tournament this year from our league. He had a couple of tough games where he's learning his craft, and that is, number one, as a quarterback, you need to take care of the football. And I think that he learned the hard way. He had a rough game against Towson, 2 pick sixes, which probably cost us the game, and he knows that. And then again this past week down at JMU. So it's really a guy who ran for 5 touchdowns and threw for 10, had a pretty darn good year. He just had a couple of games that he'll want to forget, but he'll learn from it. He can run, he can throw, he can do many things that John Robertson could do, and now he has a great year of experience under his belt and ready to secure the job next year and be an outstanding quarterback for us.
You know, how good do you think he can be? Do you think he can be another Walter Payton Award winner somewhere down the line?
Well, he's got big shoes to fill. That's a tough assignment, but he certainly is in the rhythm and the skill set of a John Robertson. John was a stronger runner because he was bigger, but I think Zach is faster. Zach has a strong arm, actually stronger arm than John. John was extremely accurate, and I think Zach is fairly accurate. He just has to know when he should pull the trigger and when he shouldn't, and that's what he went through this year. Because if you probably talk with him, he'll tell you there's a lot of balls he wished he didn't throw, and that comes sometimes with experience. And what happens is the game slows down for you the more experience that you have. I think the game at times this year went fast for him, especially down at JMU. And that was a big-time game in front of a huge crowd for all the marbles. And he played in that game, and now he's got that under his belt.
You know, with John Robertson, how's his rehab going? How's he doing overall?
John has handled the rehab in the offseason as well as you could expect a player to. I mean, that was an amazing loss of a last year where maybe you could have won the Peyton Award again. And he did a great job talking to Zach, spending time with Zach, rallying our team as a captain the consummate team player, and he's handled the disappointment of losing the 5th year probably as well as anybody that I've ever seen. So John's ready for the real world. He has a shot to be a pro quarterback. He spent a whole summer up on Wall Street, so he's ready for the real world.
Does he plan to try to still make it to the NFL, or is he moving on?
No, he wants to give the NFL a shot. He's rehabbing the knee right now. He went down to see Dr. Andrews in Florida, and they suggested no operation, just rehab. And so he has a 6-month rehab program. He'll be ready for NFL camps, and he's a prized QB. I mean, the pro scouts are all over him still. They really like him. And if pro football doesn't work out, geez, he's got a tremendous job waiting for him up on Wall Street.
Now, moving forward, how much time do you guys take off before you start gearing up for the next season?
Well, we're in that Thanksgiving break right now. All our coaches need to get away and get some R&R as much as our players do. When we come back, we'll have a 2-week run getting ready for finals. We'll have limited workouts for the players in the weight room, but the recruiting is hot and heavy right now. We have several commitments from players, and we hope that we'll finish recruiting the class in the next 3 weeks. Our first recruiting visit is December 11th and 12th, so recruiting will be the topic. And then once we get to our final count of 15 players offered and committed, then we'll start to get ready for spring ball, which is in April.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. I'll now send it back to the studio with Pat and Alexandra.
Now let's take it over to Brendan Donovan in that very comfy armchair for our weekly update.
Hello and welcome to another week of the Sports Update Corner. I'm Brendan Donovan, and I'll be giving you the scores and highlights from all the Wildcats action. Villanova football played its final game of the season at James Madison on Saturday. The Wildcats hung with the Dukes until late in the fourth quarter, where a couple of turnovers sealed the deal for them. Gary Underwood had 14 carries for 90 yards and a touchdown. Linebackers Austin Calitro and Don Cherry led another strong defensive effort. Villanova finished the season 6-5. Men's and women's cross country both headed south for nationals at Louisville. Patrick Tiernan went toe-to-toe with the 2-time defending champion, Edward Cheserek. It was a 2-man race for the first 8,000 meters of the 10K race, with Cheserek and Tiernan leading the pack. Eventually, Cheserek pulled away and won once again, while Tiernan finished second. Rob Denault and Jordy Williams were also in the field of runners for the men's team, finishing 77th and 214th respectively. The women's team had a lot of youth on its squad. Only 2 of the 7 Villanovans running at Louisville had gone to nationals before. Regardless, it was sophomore Siofra Clary Butner who led the way with a 113th place finish. Angel Picarello finished the race at 140th. Bella Berta and Katie Fisher cracked the top 200 at 175th and 198th overall. The women's team finished in 30th place. That's it for scores and highlights this week. Back to Pat and Alexandra at the desk.
Thanks so much for tuning in to State of the Nova Nation. As we said, this will be our last show before Thanksgiving break, but we'll be back with more Villanova sports after break before Christmas. So, Alex, as you noticed, we know that football season came to an end, and unfortunately,
over.
Yeah, it's
really sad.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the last of football for us, as seniors,
Yeah.
and
our last rally.
It's crazy to think, and I know it was a tough season with the John Robertson injury, and they had some tough losses and stuff.
Yeah,
but
lost Japan.
yeah, but there were
years.
Yeah, there were a lot of bright spots in the season.
There were. The big win to Richmond on homecoming weekend.
Oh, that's huge! Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of positives to take from it, and hopefully next year they won't be as injury ridden. They'll be a lot better off and stuff. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for the Cats.
Now we know that football is a huge part of this holiday that we more commonly know as Thanksgiving. Now, Alex, please tell us, what will you be doing for Thanksgiving?
Well, if you're begging to know, I am going to go home to Raleigh, North Carolina. We're going to have a big Southern Thanksgiving.
Down in good
turkey,
old Carolina.
Mac and cheese, mashed potatoes.
Wow.
and
home.
football.
Wow. Sounds like it'll be a good Thanksgiving.
It's going to be a good one. How about you?
Yeah, same. Going home. Going to be here in the Northeast. Looks like it will not be 64 degrees like it will be in North Carolina.
Yeah,
but
I'm
it
not
sounds
bragging,
like,
but
no, but you kind of.
Yeah,
You got to shove it in. I don't blame you. It's going to be, I think, maybe like 58, 59 degrees up
good
here.
for New Jersey in November.
Yeah, exactly. We'll take it. We'll take it as a win. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Get to see the family. Again, watch football. The Cats will be on, so that'll be fun. And Friday as well. So I'll be looking forward to watching that. So it's always nice to celebrate Thanksgiving. As I said, channel your inner pilgrim. You know?
Right. You got to get the black and white and then the hat because it's the most important part.
Exactly. So that we're always excited for that. You know.
Yeah.
As we said, thank you so much for tuning in to State of the Nova Nation. We always appreciate you guys checking it out. As we said, we'll be back after Thanksgiving break with more Villanova sports. My name is Pat Ralph.
And I'm Alexander Hernandez.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you after break. That was good. Good job.
I was going to say, without the hat, you're just like a black and white cookie. And then
I love black and white cookies.
I know, me too.
Like
I hope I'm a
like him. He's a black and white cookie.
I'm a black and
You
white
are a
cookie.
black and white
Yes.
cookie. I heard that
black
this
and white
is what
cookies.
you
Go, Pat. Go. Yeah, he's a black and white cookie.